Hey guys, it's Ashley from theawakenedstate.net, and today we're going to talk about manifesting tips for your dream career. This is such a fun one because I'm so passionate about dream careers, and we're going to talk about my top 3 tips on how you can use manifestation to manifest your ultimate career. Let's get started. Hey guys, it is Ashley from theawakenedstate.net, and we are continuing on with our How to Manifest series, How to Manifest blank. And basically we are going into all the different ways we can manifest, all of the limitless possibilities of how you can use manifestation, and most importantly, how we can realize that we can use manifesting in any area of our lives. There is no edge or end to the power of using manifestation. Most people just think manifesting is like manifesting money or manifesting a physical object. There is so many different ways you can use manifestation. It's partly why I'm obsessed with it, because you can just use manifesting for anything. There is like so many possibilities. I'm only just covering like the tippy tip of the iceberg of how many possibilities manifestation can open up for you. So this week we are talking about career, and this is such a great topic because I know there's a lot happening in the world. There's a lot of careers shifting. There's a lot of jobs, and this is like a great conversation to have because I know that this is something that really can speak to a lot of people. So I felt really drawn on to talk about it because I think these are like the most important conversations we can ask ourselves is, what the fuck do you want? Because the crux of manifesting is about getting more unapologetic about claiming what you truly want for your life. You know, things just don't happen haphazardly. Like, we're choosing them unconsciously or consciously. So it's up to us to decide to start choosing consciously how this is going to go for us. And I think sometimes that's a hard lesson to learn because manifesting is always occurring. But manifesting, maybe you didn't learn about how to do it correctly, or maybe you just don't even understand the process fully, but you're always manifesting. Like, there's patterns running and looping in your nervous system called your programming, and it's always going and going and going and going. And I think when it comes to the concept of career, this can get kind of hard and edgy, right? Because there might be certain beliefs that you have about hard work. There could be certain beliefs that you have about society. There could be certain beliefs that you have about money. There could be certain beliefs that you have about what type of career you're allowed to have, because these are all the conversations that are going on behind the scenes in your subconscious mind, and they're all dominated around, you know, what you grew up with, how you know that a career is made, how you know that your parents made money. All of these things are going on behind the scenes when it comes to manifestation. It's just you have been unconscious to them. Now you're conscious. So when you start being more conscious to them, now it's about, okay, well, what the fuck do I actually want? Like, when it comes to really getting clear on career, I invite you to take a step away from like limiting yourself and instead tap in more fully to what is actually important to me. So your first tip for identifying and manifesting a dream career is to look at your values, because your values will keep you in integrity with your personal alignment. I talk about values a lot, and there's a reason why. Because if you don't understand your values, you can easily create an integrity breach with yourself, which will allow you to sabotage and block your manifestation because you are out of integrity with who you truly are. Your subconscious mind will literally put the brakes up if you are out of integrity. So what do I mean by that? Well, if you're trying to manifest a really awesome career, But there's a part of you that's like, well, I'll never have time for family, or I'll never have time for doing what I actually love to do, or I'll never have time for what I want. Then that will drastically like cause a block, because it's out of integrity with your personal values. Your personal values say, I always have to have time for family. I always have to have time for what I want. I always have to have time for what I love to do. That will cause a block. So when it comes to manifesting your dream career, we have to go out of the box, okay? You have to start looking at, well, what is actually important to me? And so a really easy exercise that you can do, and I think I even wrote about this on the blog somewhere, is it is important for me to have blank. And to just keep writing that over and over again until you get some answers, because it's in there. It's in you. And the more that you dig it out and dig deeper, what is important to me? What is important to me? Like, this is what's important to me. This is what's important to me. This is what's important to me. Now you've identified what your actual values are. Now you can use that in terms of a career by knowing that this is part of what creates my dream career, because these values are important to me. So, you know, for instance, some of mine are time freedom, location freedom, always having time for what matters, making sure I have plenty of financial support, making sure I have community in a sense of like leadership. Another one is always making time for self-expression. That's one of my hugest ones. You know, always making time to put myself first so I have more breathing space and more love to give, basically. So those are some of mine. So I invite you to explore that exercise, because that can reveal a lot to you what is actually in integrity with your personal alignment of who you are. Like the core part of who you are. This will keep you in integrity when it comes to manifesting what you actually want. So, like, to also say, like, a piggyback on that is you can't manifest something that's out of alignment with who you are. I mean, you can, but you're going to be miserable and it's going to be exhausting and you're going to be, like, completely, like, out of alignment. So it's easier to start with that as the foundation, okay? Step 1. Find your values. What is important to you? What are your non-negotiables? What is your non-negotiables? Step 2, get absolutely clear on defining what the career is. So if you don't know what the career is yet, and that's okay, instead establish the boundaries of what you actually want. Like, what are the standards? Like, what are your work hours? What do you want to get paid? How many hours a week do you want to work? How do you define success? How do you define how many hours of, like, how many days a week you'll work? How do you define how you will work? Like, do you feel like you're going to be, like, hustling? Do you feel like you're more going to be operating from a place of alignment? Like, this sounds so obvious, but we don't think about this. Like, you have to get into the dirt of what you want and explore, like, the actual blueprint of what you want. So how many hours do you want to work? How do you want to feel showing up in your career or your business? How do you want to feel showing up? How do you want to feel in your business or your career? How do you want to, like, believe? What do you want to believe about yourself, about your career? What do you want to see in your career? So it's like we're kind of creating that sensory experience of making it more real. So when you make it more real, it becomes more real in your subconscious mind. So maybe there's a bunch of programming and beliefs and stuff going on behind the scenes, but the more that you're making things more real, your mind and your body can latch onto that and believe it. So the body cannot believe if the feelings don't live in the body. Like, the mind will not believe if the feelings do not live in the body. I will say it over and over and over and over again, which means the feelings do not matter as much as your beliefs. So to kind of create that picture of how you can believe it's real, you have to first define what the fucking picture is. Like, if you were to go into your kitchen and you know that you can pull a coffee cup off the shelf and go and get coffee. It needs to be as clear as that, because that makes it real. You can't be like, I'm gonna go into the kitchen and I don't know where the coffee cup is. It's like kind of black in here. I don't know. Did I forget to turn the light on? That is what you do when you don't define what you want. So the universe can't get behind that. Like, think about that. Like, the universe cannot get behind something that you can't even clearly define. It can move you forward, like, should I go this way to the light switch? I don't know. So when you do that, you have to get clear. So I invite you to explore, what is the vision that you see in terms of your dream career? It's there. And if you don't even know, I also invite you to explore, but if I did know in my core what absolutely would bring me absolute passion to get paid for, it would be blank. And I invite you to take that prompt and explore what comes through, because that will also help you. And so when we get clear on defining what we want, I also find it's important to express gratitude towards that. So once you have a clear picture, now start creating gratitude statements around that. I am grateful and happy that I have a career doing blank. I'm grateful and happy that I now make blank and blank. I'm grateful that I have the work hours of blank and blank. And so what you're doing is you're creating reality. You're creating it, making it more real from your imagination, from your core desires, from your personal integrity of your values. And so what you've done is you've dropped away from, I don't know what I want. I can't see clearly what I want. The light switch is clearly way over there and I have no clue what I'm doing. And instead you've like, okay, I have a GPS point. I have a target I can aim at now, because when we do not properly define what we want, we are the equivalent of shooting a bow and arrow into nowhere zone and hoping it hits a target. That's what we do when we don't define what we want, because we haven't made it more real in our mind. So the more that you unapologetically make it more real for yourself, the more it becomes real. This is a good conversation to have, because if you're trying to manifest a dream career, a new career, manifesting a better career, you have to go into the depths of this process, because you have to define what you freaking want. It's like not rocket science here. It's just make it real for yourself. What do you want? And so the more that you conceptualize that, now you can start to be like, okay, because I know this, and I know this, and I know this, as I now embody this person, what would be the actions I would take? And that leads me to step 3. So now that you've defined that, now you're going to be stepping into new shoes, okay? When you think about it like this, you're creating an identity switch. You're creating an identity shift in your mind. And so this is literally what I had to do, is like when you think about changing your mind, you're changing a part of you. You're changing your identity. So if you want a new career, you have to create the identity of that person. So when you think about it like this, it's not that you're not being like inauthentic to who you are. You're just stepping more into who you are in the aligned version of you. So step 3, I want you to think about this. As I am now blank, the actions and shifts I immediately take are blank. And so when you look at it this way, what are you doing? You're shifting the identity of how you show up. So what will occur, even if you don't even have a clue as to how this is going to happen, what you're doing is you're telling your mind in this moment that you are that person. And so now your mind will be flooded with new perspectives, new ways of seeing, new opportunities. And now you are on the right pathway, because now you're allowing yourself to fuel possibility. So because of that, it's like, it's an identity switch. It's an identity shift that you're creating in your mind. So the more that you're embodying the person who already has that career, now you're going to be like, oh, I should do this. And then it's suddenly like, maybe I should check that Indeed list. Maybe I should write that email. Maybe I should do it this way. Suddenly, new opportunities, new possibilities, new evidence begins to open up before you because you got clear, you got honest, and then you created the shift. And so it's not action like randomly, like, what do I need to do? What do I need to do to create a career? What do I need to do to do this? What do I need to do? And instead, you drop into the identity. And I think this is one of those pieces that is not talked about enough, because instead we're still in the desire. Get out of the desire, get into the identity. And that's ultimately the best way to really create the shift. Okay, so let's summarize. So for manifesting your dream career, the top 3 tips I want to give you is to first identify your core values. Stay in integrity with who you are. Otherwise, you're just going to be drastically unhappy, out of alignment, suffering, and in a complete state of misalignment. So identify your core values. What is important to you? Okay, this is your homework. If you're dead serious about this, I kid you not, if you do these steps, you will see shifts. Okay, identify your core values. Number 2, define what you want. Define the vision and the full vision of what you want. Define your career. Define what work hours you want. Define how you want to work. Define how you want to show up. Define how you feel. Go into the full sensory experience. 3, step into the identity and take action from there. Okay. Values, define your career, step into the identity. What shifts need to occur? All right, this one has been incredible. I hope you get so much value out of this. If you want more where this is coming from, the Soul Aligned Manifesting Circle is officially open, and there is a VIP special going on. If you are interested in learning more on how to work together or explore manifestation even deeper, I highly suggest you pop onto my free training called The Top 5 Manifesting Secrets to Quantum Leap Without the Fluffy Bullshit, so you can dive headfirst into understanding manifestation even more clearly than ever before. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Love ya.